So, welcome to the Coaching Crowd podcast with me, Zoe Hawkins, and my friend, but not co host today. She's a guest joining us, is Emma Bradley. Hi, Emma.
Hi there.
Thanks for being here this morning. I know we're set to have a chat about your journey into coaching because I think I've said on a previous episode, it's great that Joe and I can share our stories, but actually hearing real stories from people like you just helps to bring alive the journey, and everybody's journey into coaching is different. So do you want to start by sharing with us who you are and what brings you here today?
Yeah, certainly. So I'm Emma Bradley, and I've got quite a long background, I guess. I am a qualified teacher and I worked in inclusion. So I worked with a lot of students that were on the edges and disengaged, and I worked with their families and with other educational providers to help them. And then I ended up accidentally as head of department for sociology and doing less inclusion. So then I left teaching because I didn't like it anymore. And after that, I started blogging, and I blog primarily about parenting teenagers and again working with those that are disengaged. And then, I transitioned into coaching as well as another string to add to my bow, really.
Amazing. And it's, I think when you speak to a lot of people in those sort of portfolio careers, you tend to find there's always been a thread of coaching throughout. And I should imagine in those early days in your career, without necessarily knowing, you were using a huge amount of coaching skills.
Yes, definitely. And, that's been something people have always said to me, is that I listen really well. They feel valued when they're talking to me. So it is a natural progression in that way, I think.
So having had that background, how did you find coaching? Because we find a lot of people, they don't really know that coaching exists, and you sort of stumble upon it somehow amongst your career. So how did you first get introduced or find out about coaching?
I found out about coaching in the pub of all places.
The best of places.
So I was out with a friend who actually trained with you way back in the day, with Tammy. And Tammy is a coach and a very, very capable coach as well. And I was talking to her about sort of jobs that I was looking at, how I feel that I wanted still to add value somewhere and give more back. And I was thinking around teenagers still at that point, although it's not worked out that way, which I'm sure we'll get onto later. But so Tammy was telling me more about coaching and recommended you guys. So I had a look, and then I think it all happened very quickly for me. I contacted you via your website, and I had a quick chat and literally signed up ready to go because your cohort was starting in about 10 days time. I think so. It sounds quick and impulsive, but it wasn't, because it had been on that back burner, and like you say, I didn't know what it was I was looking for, but then it all fell into place and I was like, that's it.
We find that with a lot of people that join the program, they have been told by somebody, oh, you'd make a great coach, or, you've always had that feedback around listening or questioning or empathy or presence or whatever it is that feel like some of the raw qualities of coaching. So, so that's good. So how did you find the whole coaching training experience?
It was brilliant. I loved it. I was nervous at the start, and it's something I kept saying to you, I found, coming from a teaching background, there was a big mind shift change, really. And I remember one thing that you said to me, because in teaching, we are responsible and judged on our students' results. And that took a long time for me to change. And I remember you said to me, your responsibility is not about the client's end goal. Like, we facilitate, but we're not there to fix everything, and provide the answers, which is the opposite of teaching, where we are expected to fix, we are expected to put things there and tell them how to pass things and how to do things, and then ultimately we are judged on their results, exam results or personal skills, those sorts of things, performance related pay, those type of things. So in that way it was very different, and I was nervous about that side of it. However, our group was just so supportive, and I soon overcame that. And I actually really like using the models because, again, that gave me that structure. And I learned quite quickly that I am somebody that likes to have that sort of semi-structure in place. And of course, you're going to go off piece when clients bring different things, but to have those models were really, really useful. And that's probably the biggest thing that I took away.
Oh, that's great. And again, I think a lot of people on the training program, you come with the raw skills, you come with the listening, you come with the questioning, you come with the empathy. And then there's a huge unlearning process that happens around what are actually all the little conversational habits and conversational tics that we pick up when we're supporting friends and family, or, you know, as leaders in different careers, yours being teaching, some others being, you know, different leadership careers. And that unlearning process can be really uncomfortable because it's what you've come to know, isn't it? It's just what you've come to be professionally known as. So so that unlearning process, I think, is a big part of actually learning how to coach in the first place.
Yeah, definitely.
So what do you do now? Like, tell us how you're integrating coaching into this wonderful portfolio career that you've had.
So after teaching, I transitioned into full-time blogging. I was already blogging and making money from blogging before I left teaching, and I knew I could ramp it up if I had more time. And then during lockdown, I really wanted to help other women make, I say women, it's not just women, but it's primarily women, make money out of blogging, because I had done it so effortlessly, if you like. And I knew that was because I took it and treated it as a business. I treated it professionally, and I taught myself a lot of skills. And so in lockdown, I decided that I wanted to be able to help bloggers. And so I started a blog membership, Hobby to Heyday, in which I help bloggers monetize their blogs. But I also thought that I would use coaching to work with families and teenagers. I still plan to do that at some point, but what became very quickly apparent is people wanted me to teach them how to blog. So that is where I'm using coaching now. So I'm offering a coaching package where we work on mindset issues alongside the technical blogging issues. So it's a real sort of hybrid mix of the two.
And I think your story is a great example where you take coaching and you make it your own. So yes, we teach a certain way of coaching. We talk about 6 sessions and transformational coaching, but actually most, you know, for people who have their own businesses, it's managing that continuum, isn't it? And we do that. We talk about this on the program, that sometimes you'll be at the coach end working with topics, as you've sort of described there, around mindset, probably visibility, confidence, all the fears that come with starting something. And then there are other times you'll be down the other end of the continuum doing things around mentoring and guiding and advising. And I think the thing with coaching is making choices and being clear with your clients around where you are on that continuum. So, you know, it's a great example of how you can take something and blend it into, you know, a business idea that you've already got brewing.
Yeah, it's what it's done, I think, is give me the questions to help people unlock and unblock as part of their like blogging journey as well. So yeah, it's a real mix of the technical and the practical, you know, contact these people, do this on your blog to make it look better or work faster, but also, you know, what's stopping you pitching. And, you know, somebody even said to me yesterday, I'd never pitched until I listened to one of your masterclasses. And so it's, again, like you say, that's confidence and having that self-belief, which, you know, we unpick as we're going along.
And how do you think it's helped you personally? Like what's some of the kind of personal journey that you've got from, you know, learning all of this stuff around coaching and mindset?
It was huge. I mean, it was really transformational for me. In the weekly sessions, in our practice triads, you know, we're practicing these skills on each other and using the models and the frameworks. And it's your own coaching journey as well. So, you know, not only are you learning those skills, you're actually being coached. And I learned an awful lot about myself. I understand myself a lot better now. It doesn't fix everything, but you see things through another lens. So when I've reacted in a certain way, since, I kind of understand myself more, and I know what's driving that, and then I can make choices about how to manage that in the future. So it's been huge in terms of my own personal development as well. It's emotional, isn't it? I mean, it's emotional. I've cried in sessions with my triads and in my groups, but it's done in a very safe container.
Yeah. And that's just the reality of coaching, isn't it? Because when you go out and you start coaching what we call real people, so people who aren't on the program, clients bring stuff to the session. And I think as soon as you start to hold space for somebody, things come up, and it's not trauma. It's just life can be emotional, can't it? You're able to release all of those emotions in a safe space and move away from coaching, often feeling better and feeling lighter and more empowered, as you say, to make choices that take you in the direction that you want to go in. And, one of the things we do on the program is make that normal, because I think coming into it, you don't feel like it's normal sometimes. And so to understand emotions at that level is a, part of the growth.
Yeah. And what I would say is, by being that vulnerable myself and having those sort of strong emotions has meant that when clients do, I'm not fazed by it because I've been there. And so I think that is, a real huge benefit as well of the coaching process, because when my clients have got emotional, I know why. And I'm not I'm not, as the coach, panicked by that, because I know that that's the steps I went through as well, and therefore it's perfectly normal.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's next for you, Emma? You've mentioned, some stuff around perhaps getting into coaching teens and parents. Where are your ideas currently with how you're going to, use more of this coaching?
So I'm definitely continuing with the blog coaching. There's so much scope there, and growing my membership, which is probably the primary focus at the moment. I am also looking for part-time work, I guess. And when I say part-time, really part-time, I think I'll do 1 or 2 days. But, my own teenagers, well, one's in her 20s now and one at 18. So my house is getting very quiet. I've still got a 12-year-old around, but, I'm looking now for something outside of the home as well. So I'm looking at where I can use those coaching skills as well in maybe mentoring work or coaching work with teenagers. So I'm looking at charity roles and things like that, because the money of those isn't too important to me because I make my money via blogging. So it's just finding something else. And I think, again, the coaching skills are really going to help with working in, the charity sector somewhere with vulnerable young people.
Yeah. And, listening to you talking that out, it sounds like that is coming from a place of having an awareness of what you want, because as you're saying, like, it's not about the money for you. It's actually, it sounds like that's about something else, like connection or getting out of the house, busyness. What helps you to make those decisions?
Again, doing the coaching course myself, because I've learnt my own values. And I've learned my own beliefs, and it's made me aware of what I actually need as well. And I think that's the working with young people is a need for me in some way. I mean, at the moment, I've got Chloe's best friend is job hunting. I found her a job. My brother's got a job interview today. He's in his mid-20s, but I found him the job. And I'm like, I think there's something in this as well. And, and this is what people have always said to me. And again, those are the young people that I liked working with. So I'm open at the moment to where that's going to take me. But before coaching, I think I'd lost my confidence with all of that, because I've been out of teaching for a number of years and I've been just solely blogging. But now I am seeing how I can match the two, but I've got to get my coaching hours in as well, so that I can fully sign off and be a fully qualified, certified coach.
Oh, fantastic. So it sounds very much like a journey of self-discovery and a journey of professional development and business development as well that you've got from the program.
Absolutely. It's given me real clarity on what I want the next phase, if you like, to look like. And like you said earlier, you called it a portfolio career, and that's what I call it as well. And I think, you know, in today's society, that's becoming more and more commonplace for people. So being able to retrain and do things like the coaching course just can give you a new lease, a new pathway where you can still explore and do different things, even, you know, a bit later on in life.
Yeah, and you don't have to have it all worked out, do you? I think, you know, listening to you, you couldn't have predicted exactly how you were going to use the coaching when you came into the program. It sounds like you had some ideas, and there's, you know, some of them have happened and some of them you are still kind of working towards, but no firm plan, more of being guided by your strengths and your talents and what you were passionate about.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one thing that came out of the coaching for me is that although I have this passion, desire, need to work with young people, that's actually a really hard business to tap into when you haven't got those connections anymore. I used to have those connections when I worked in education. I don't have those connections at the council and in, you know, charities and that at the moment. And so you can come up, I think, with the greatest plan that I'm going to be the savior, or, you know, I'm going to really help these people and these vulnerable people by offering coaching. But if you haven't got those direct roads into them at this point, you've got to go in a roundabout way, haven't you, and rebuild those connections first. And I think that's where I'm at with it. The blogging and the blogging community and the membership, that's there. I've got that on my plate, so it seems daft not to build my business around that and then do the other in my spare time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the thing with coaching as well, where the two worlds sometimes come together, is every single one of us has that inner child within us. And so even though you can be coaching people to build their blogs, you know, many of the people who might have taken themselves out of the workplace in order to build their blogs have a vulnerable inner child inside of them anyway. And you sort of work through the adult to help, you know, that inner child to build their confidence, build their self-belief, and that's fulfilling as well. So there's always scatters of those passions. I think all roads lead to, you know, where we need to go, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's the thing that I've learned with the blogging side, that actually I'm, again, using my teaching skills alongside my newfound coaching skills. And, you know, again, together, this sort of hybrid working is ticking my boxes.
Brilliant. Oh, Emma, look, thank you so much for joining us today. Probably one last thing from me. If anybody is sort of sat on the sidelines and just wondering whether the coaching is right for them or what they might do with it, what sort of piece of advice would you take from the journey that you've been on that you would offer to others?
I would definitely say explore it. If there's a question there, if you're curious, it won't go away. Will it? You've got to do something about it. So, you know, find out, speak to you guys, which is what I did. And, you know, it then just became a no-brainer, really. And even if you're not sure how you're going to use coaching in the end goal, which certainly was me, and actually it's a number of people on the cohort that I was in. We didn't, you know, it wasn't all people coming with a very clear end goal. It was, you know, I'm curious about this, I want to see where it's going to go. And so I think if that's you, just get in touch and just explore.
Yeah, more and more actually we see people following their passion rather than following a plan. You know, plans emerge, you know, and it's a bit similar to coaching, really, when you're working with clients who might come to coaching because they sense that something is off. You know, they either want to make a bit of a career pivot or they aren't wholly sure, but the goals tend to come at the end of the coaching, after they've gone through the self-searching and, you know, building clarity and understanding their values. And I think the coaching program is a bit like that in itself. Like, you start with the passion and the curiosity, and the plan and the ideas, they form as you go through learning more and more both about yourself and about the coaching itself. So yeah, brilliant.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
Look, Emma, if anybody's listening and they are thinking, oh, blogging, I'd like to give that a go, where can they come and find you?
So you can find me on social media, obviously, and I'm Emma and then the number 3 on all the different social platforms. And then Top Blog Coaching is our business name. So we've got a website there, we've got Facebook groups. So yeah, if you do blog or you're interested in learning, how blogging can help your business, just get in touch with myself and we can have a little chat.
Fabulous. And I know you've been in our business lounge as well, helping our community building their visibility through blogging. So I can vouch that Emma has a lot to offer. So do go and check her out.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emma.